Betty was talking about big sweet potatoes.
You stuck by the office.
Well, you know what you can do?
Oh,
Yeah.
and I don't have to be in.
My son's a little crook.
Me neither, like I used to. Were you remember?
That's the old 127 millimeter film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned out
We had
good.
the whole day to look forward.
Yeah.
But it had a backhoe set
All
there.
the way to the door.
But I dug it,
That's the door.
but it really set it
The
off.
best way is to stay in and do
I
it.
brought it back.
That's right.
Do it. Yeah, she said they grew a 10
Never
pound
go in down there.
some years ago.
Next time,
And she was really proud.
Well, last winter,
I'll bring you a picture.
we was out there getting that dump truck for
Website,
Yeah.
emergency management.
Hey, you can't believe how many I've got.
No, I bet.
Names, call them.
Talking about the IT department,
Remember one time, Karen boy.
It's one of
Yeah,
those big
boy,
ones.
get all this
Best
scout.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hurry if I need it.
payments people.
I mean, just like Indians got.
I didn't know
We
what
got one there.
I didn't know what.
That's the younger generation.
I know, yeah.
You need to get rid of that
That
one.
means less.
It's such a memory, back then it was
I
okay.
pretty well drive.
Okay, it is time now that our charter member is here. I didn't want to know that.
Commissioner Mullins, Commissioner Gallagher,
Here,
Commissioner Wilkinson,
present here, we are
Four
called
is
to order.
present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sir?
Heavenly Father, we ask your presence as we do the business of the county. We're so thankful for all the many blessings that we receive. We're also want to do what's right in your eyes, so help us in all this. We ask in Jesus' name.
Thank you. Been having trouble with the flashing, and now I'm having trouble with getting it to advance. So,
We're gonna do it like we do when you're not here.
yeah, how's that? We just
Turn it off.
old-fashioned style. Well, the consent agenda is approval of the minutes of the 17th and the 24th. Now, I gave you 2 dates on that. By my mistake previously, we have okayed the minutes for the November 10th twice and not the 17th. So we'll do both of them this time.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Move that we approve it.
And I approve your intent to do that.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you, and that's the extent of the consent agenda. Okay, item 1 of the regular agenda is the annual contribution election for the SERF, for County Employment Retirement Fund. And Mr. Clerk?
Yeah, we had no table items either, just.
No, no
So
table
that's
items.
why we're into this annually, that's why they call it the annual election. You have to decide that whether you're gonna have your employees pay into the 4%, into the SERF, County Employees Retirement Fund. This happened about almost 16, 18 years ago, where you had to make an election whether the county, the employees had paid for it, and I will take part of the blame for that at the time. I was on a committee, small committee that did the deal in the Senate for this, because SERF was at about 50-something% funded. Loggers was about 60-something% funded, and without participation of the employees, to try to get it up to where it was more reasonable, there was a good chance that there was going to be a lot of people that were disappointed when they retired, because there would be not enough funds there to cover it. So with that in mind, we do this every year, and then when we say that we're going to keep our current election in effect so that the employees pay 4%.
Yes, we currently paying 4%.
The employees pay 4%.
Okay, so it's not a change in that.
Nope,
This is-
it's just reaffirmation every year. We
Okay.
have to do it, unfortunately.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we continue with the 4% per year by employee or the participation in the SERF.
Second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Okay, there is I understand, a grandfather, some of the very old employees. I didn't call any names. I didn't call names.
We might qualify.
Yeah.
So they would have been here at least 18 years.
Okay. Anyway, back then, the county paid the 4%, and so that was grandfathered in. but since then, and not since that, some apparent date in there years ago, then the employee donates, or
The state,
does that.
the state did the same exact thing, and some of us that were already on the state, it's illegal to change your pension at that point from the state standpoint, so that's why anybody that was hired after that point had to start the 4% participation.
And that 4% is pre-tax.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any other questions?
I would like to know, you had said that at that point loggers was 67% of their,
It was, that was almost 20 years ago.
they're at
16 years ago.
95 now.
That's the reason it was, this was back in, it just didn't, the defined benefit was not gonna be there unless we made some changes, and we changed just about all of them from the state standpoint because of the fact that it was not being funded, and one of the things was we raised the amount of the retirement formula, how long you had to be there. One of the first things we changed, the thing was rigged from the elected officials because you'd have your retirement and then they'd appoint them to a board for one day, and then suddenly they'd qualify for that board's pension plan, which might have been twice what their
They
schedule.
learned that from the feds, I think.
Yeah, they figured out, so that's the first thing we did, was change the elected officials' retirement so that it was based upon other things, not what you were appointed to after your time of service. You might have been there 16 years and they would have based you then on 16 years of this pension. If you were sitting on the probation and parole or something like that and making $70,000, $80,000 rather than the $30,000, and your retirement was based upon that. So we changed all, there was a bunch of the things that they changed on those things to keep them more, and you said it's 95 now?
95 loggers.
I think Surfs was at 50 something at this time. It was really, really down. Loggers was always better, but it was not near what it is now.
What's Surf County, you know?
I don't know. I was the representative for loggers at the annual meeting, and I got all that information.
I think it's in the upper 70s or lower 80s.
I'm not
It's
sure.
Much more solvent than what it was back then.
Okay. Did I get a vote on that?
No.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Now, next item is the appointment of St. Francis County Health Board. We had one nomination from the board, and we've had another since then. So I would like to take another week. We have a deadline on December 30 to make that decision. So I'd like to take that another week and put that on the agenda for next week.
Could I make a comment on this?
Yes.
Election opens filing on the 15th
For what?
for the health board.
Okay.
So it's never been a thing we've had to beg somebody to run.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that there's going to be some interest in it this time, and you have to file at our office on Weber Road on the 15th, as well as the ambulance district. And the local school districts, you file at your school and your city hall and those type of things, but that all starts in less than, well, in 2 weeks. So,
And is that the April election?
that's for the April election. Yeah.
I move that we table this item until we can
Well,
look it up.
okay. Table it or just put it on next week's agenda?
Well, okay, put it on next week's agenda.
Just put it on the agenda for next week. Okay. Got a second? Okay, any questions? Yes,
Just, I don't claim to be an expert on understanding county statutes. 205.041, I think it gives the opportunity for the public to declare their candidacy for any openings in the board. And I don't know how that's regulated by open filing season and all this other stuff. But is there gonna be enough time allotted so that there's people that wanna run for this as a public servant will given the opportunity to declare their candidacy and essentially run for election at the next municipal election?
That filing opens December 15th.
December 15th.
When does it close?
Close January, I think, 19th.
So you got a month to make your decision in there. So,
Okay, and so will you keep it open to see whether people declare, or will you go ahead and make an appointment to fill the slot?
Probably go ahead and make
This
the
is for an
appointment.
unexpired term.
Okay.
Right,
It
this
said,
is pretty-
it said expired or unexpired term in this
Okay,
particular
I've got the
statute.
number written down, I'll check
Okay.
it out. Okay.
So your intention, if you have more than one, is to vote on that from the board, or how would you like to list the next week's agenda? my question, and then you had a few days for people if they're interested. Did you say that there was 2 people looking?
So far, we have 2 people.
And you would come forward with a recommendation for me to put on the?
Filling the unexpired term.
Right, but you're gonna say that who that name is on for the agenda, or are you gonna wait until next Tuesday and then vote on it? I
There
just
may
need
be
clarification how
additional, there may be additional names by that time.
Yeah.
and if there
So
are,
it-
how would you like it listed?
Probably come to a vote next week.
Filling unexpired term.
Okay, fill, very good.
Okay.
We'll put it on there.
Okay, do I have a motion second to,
Motion and second, but no vote yet.
okay, and any other questions? Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. And the last item is a budget hearing notice for December 14th for the 2021 budget. And that'll be here at, I guess, 10 o'clock. We haven't even talked about that part, but in this room at 10 o'clock on December 14th. That's a Monday. We'll have a budget hearing, and then on the next day, we'll talk more about the maybe amended budget at that time.
And it has to be passed by the 15th, I think, doesn't it?
Is that the deadline?
It just has
It
to be
should
done
be.
before the end of the year.
It has to be done before the end of the year.
No, that's just a couple weeks.
We recommend the 15th, so if there's any amendments, then we have 2 weeks' time to make those adjustments.
I think that happened last year. We came to do it, and you made some minor adjustments and had it finalized before the end of the year, so it gives you a little leeway.
Well, the purpose of this is to announce the budget hearing on Monday, December 14th, 10 a.m. right here. Okay, that's all I have on the agenda. Correspondence, anybody? Okay, public comments? Departmental reports?
Yes, commissioners, I received, when I went and did the paperwork for the Off Creek project, and additional property, at that time, they had all the funds built in there for the closeout and the paperwork, title, all that stuff. Well, they wrote a check to Preferred Land Title. This is the trustees. Well, that amount was an overage, so the St. Francis County taxpayers will be receiving a check in the amount of $90.54. I have since deposited that with Carrie Glore, the treasurer. So just wanted to state that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public, or, Clay, do you have a re-guess on tire count?
We should be finished this week. We are nearing 7,000 tires.
Of that 5,000 you estimated last week.
Right. We're hauling roughly 500 a day. We should be finished this week, but it's trying to count beans in a jar. It's kind of hard to tell how many's still there, but we're approaching, we're over 7,000 now.
Okay.
And I'm guessing around 9,000 to 10,000 we'll end up with.
What the final total will be.
Right, and we're hoping to be finished this week.
Okay.
And then another note from Road Bridge, we did, Hillsborough Road north of Hazel Run is closed. We're installing a new bridge there, probably closed for about a month. We started that yesterday.
How big a go around town?
About 7-8 miles. Pretty good go around with people there.
Bill, concerning the grant, we were shooting for a goal of 5,000, so this is quite a,
On the tires.
on the tires,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, we'll be approaching 10,000.
Okay, that's problems that won't occur here then on those 10,000 tires.
I know that's great, but still, there are people in this county that are dumping tires and
Still.
costing us now this money from the grant that the taxpayers have to pay because they're not conforming to what's supposed to be done. I mean,
If
most
they
of us
don't-
are paying a fee every time we have to have a tire changed, not just throwing it out. And these people, every few
Right.
years, if we have to pay thousands of dollars to have their tires picked up, it's something that needs to change. I'm very proud that the county's doing it, but the people, it's like litter. It costs tens of thousands and millions of dollars statewide every year to clear up. And it's great that we're doing it, but it can be prevented by just.
Well, we're picking up trash once a week too, you know, couches, sofas,
That's what I'm saying.
refrigerators,
There's a
toilets,
cost to that.
you know,
I
and
wonder about
we
the-
have to pay for that.
If they dump it, we go get it. I mean, I hate that we have to, but we're not gonna leave it set there. And I don't want that really out to,
Well,
people dump your trash and we'll come get it.
Yeah, call
But-
Clay for a pickup.
Right, I mean, we pick up big trash, we're not out there always just picking up a small piece of paper.
All
but-
of it comes at a cost, is my
Yeah, it
does.
point. And
Yeah.
Only trash litters.
And, you know, it should be known, this was a 50-50 matching grant, am I correct, Commissioner? And we'll receive about $9,000, but we will spend way more than that through the road and bridge budget. But John and I and the commissioners look at it as money well spent.
We'll spend that much on just
Yeah,
getting
so-
tires shredded. Yeah.
So we'll probably spend upwards of $20,000 when it's all said and done. But we'll get back 9,000 of it, so that's a good thing. That's a good service.
I have often wondered about the economics of charging that disposal fee at the tire shop, and people just throw them out, and then it becomes an issue, so I've often wondered about that. Amber, you said you were talking?
Yes, now that the budget hearing is set, we'll be posting notice in the newspaper of that hearing, and, by statute, we have to make the budget available to the public,
Okay.
within 10 days
Okay.
of the hearing, so
Would
we'll
the
be
clerk's
making.
office please take note of that?
We will be putting the proposed budget on the website, as well as having copies, paper copies available in the auditor's office.
Is it all right if we refer in a newspaper ad that they can go to the website to see it, so we don't have to print it?
Yes, in the past, and that's what we did last year. Before last year, it was, the actual budget got posted in the paper, which was very costly.
Yeah.
So now that we have the website capability to put that on there, as well as have paper copies available in our office, that way it's made available to the public and not costing additional taxpayer dollars.
I'll make note on that website, as of next month, we will have a whole year where everything's on there. The more time, the whole goal is to have everything on here, because at least once a month, probably closer once a week, we get a sunshine request. And if it's prior to that, we have to go back and physically dig it out and look for it and cost, whereas now the whole goal that you all had stated before was to have it all on the website and every cost on the website, so that we can eliminate a lot of them. We're not gonna be able to eliminate all of them, because sometimes they request other things, but anything for expenses or things that we paid out, or total budget has been on that website now for a full year.
A lot of work, but it's worth it.
Any other departmental reports?
It's like, damn.
Dan?
Just wanted to let everyone know there's been some, off and on with Shoppers Cop this year. Been notified by Walmart and by the Sheriff Association President. It's on this year, to be December 17th. The school and Walmart are working together to get these kids taken care of. We were afraid it wouldn't happen this year because of COVID and all the problems, and that we may not get the money because of the economics, but the citizens of St. Francis County and the area businesses have come through, and we're going to do it.
When will you know the numbers? After the
Afterwards, but we're putting the list together right now, the kids that are needing that.
Do you remember how many you had last year?
539.
539.
It's a shame that there's a need for it, but we're certainly glad that we can do it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. You need?
Am I on there for the
Yes.
jail?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna send out an RFP for medical, there's a copy of it.
Is this for the nurse, you mean?
It's for the medical contractor.
Medical contractor.
For the jail. I've added a few things on there. What we're gonna do is look at, some mental health services, also, psychiatry services, and hopefully with CARES Act money, we can get a Polycom system. I was talking to them, and, Polycom, they said a lot of places are doing that based on, keeping the physicians and keeping everybody separated with the COVID and stuff. So hopefully that stuff can be done over the Polycom system. It was in the prisons back in the 80s when they started closing down the state hospitals. A lot of your mentally ill wind up in jail. They wind up in the penitentiaries, so that's something you have to deal with on a daily basis with them coming in. Also, jail projects going well. I'd say we're probably 80% complete. They're moving on real quick. Also, the fire alarm system update. They're working on it now, hopefully to be done by the end of the week.
I got a call last night, or yesterday, from the contractor, said that the $80,000 contingency fee will not be needed, and that they're almost certainly gonna be done by the end of the year.
It looks great too. I was out by Sunday.
Yeah,
I can't tell it's even been adamant.
Maintenance told me there were 2 floors that weren't poured, but then the contractor said, yeah, we had some cast-in-place fixtures that had to wait on concrete before we got those supplied.
Right.
So
So they're doing a
And
good
that's been
job,
done now.
it's gonna be well needed.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Jamie, I don't see, on this, is this 24-hour coverage, or what is the coverage?
It's not far, we employ our own nurse.
Okay,
We are hoping, I think we're gonna get an extra nurse because of the medical needs that we have there and have more coverage. But that's basically the physician's services coming in
Okay.
once a week, changing that also from evening hours to days, help to reduce overtime costs. And also, the doctor would be coming in during the day and could meet with administrative staff so we could talk about individuals, especially one with psychological issues, to maybe refer them for counseling or seeing a psychiatrist over telehealth. But it pays the hospital bills, ambulance, and stuff like that. We pay a fee to them based on inmate count. And then if we go under that, then we're reimbursed for, if we say 150 for the month, we had 100, then the company writes us a check for what we paid for that monthly
well,
bill.
what if you go to 180?
Pardon?
What if you go to 180?
You pay the over.
You pay the overage.
Okay, so-
There's a buffer in
Okay,
there.
all right,
Yeah.
okay. And is this from a medical doctor?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay. Any questions on that?
So I think I was just talking with the sheriff about this. We already have a contract with Advanced Healthcare, Correctional Healthcare, is that right, for this service? So this is just rebidding out the service because of the contract coming to an end.
Yes.
So it's a normal process?
Yes. My only question is, won't the commission have to take a vote on that to solicit this RFP?
Well, if you enter a contract, you would, yeah.
No, for the request.
For the
This
request
request.
to solicit it, we're gonna have to be a regular agenda
It's
item.
not an agenda item
We can do it
today.
next week.
The request doesn't have to be an agenda item, voting on it does. So if you want to authorize a request, that's fine now by actions to tell him to do that. But then the actual bids will have to be approved, as a,
So you're saying that we can vote?
you can vote to go ahead and authorize him to solicit bids. You're just instructing him to do something. You're not taking official actions on the contract until but yeah, you can go ahead and tell him to start getting solicit bids or put out.
But does that have to be a vote?
I would do it as a voter.
Okay, motion.
I would move that we use the request for proposals for the soliciting bids.
Yeah, I would second the motion.
Now, any questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
I've never taken a vote for something that wasn't on the agenda before.
That's right, but on something that you're just authorizing to go forward to solicit bids for your official action, then you can, then we
It'll be-
Bit of information. Okay. My next button to push is, next meeting is December the 8th, right here. And then, adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye? Thank y'all.